What is going on, FCS Fans Nation? And welcome to Friday Night FCS, the pregame. And I know there's not a lot of guests on yet. We have some people that are probably going to cameo throughout the show. But for right now, it's just going to be me because you can probably tell behind me. We have a couple FCS playoff games going on right now. As I just hit go live, Villanova is up 21-20 with the third quarter coming to an end against Holy Cross. And then we have a tie in Missoula, Montana. 7-7 in the first quarter. That would be the Montana Grizzlies against the Eastern Washington Eagles. But as we say every week, you have a lot of podcasts throughout the week, and even more so with the playoffs in terms of there's coaching searches, there's playoffs, there's everybody's getting involved. We appreciate you bookending your week with us here at the Friday Night Pregame. And, just a quick little plug, the YouTube channel, we're getting tons of views, you guys. I mean, we love it. Every video we're getting is averaging around 400-ish views. So if you're not subscribed, give it a sub and a like. And joining me now from Texas, we have the Rev, Dustin Helton.
What's up, everybody?
Are we both wearing soccer jerseys on
Yeah, we
podcast?
We are. Wrong side. There we go.
Oh, I just got a bomb. Go Eagles. Does that mean they scored? They did. 14-7. Things change quick here. This is going to be a quasi watch along as well as discussion. So reminder, everybody, put your comments and stuff down in the, questions, what you want us to talk about. Otherwise, we're going to roll through kind of the playoffs and everything like that. Dustin, you kind of were just showing. What are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking
this beautiful pregame.
From Left Hand Brewing. It is the S'mores Milk Stout. It is quite delicious. So there you go.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Does it actually taste like s'mores?
It kind of does, yeah.
Some more s'mores?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a nice seasonal winter one you can get, and it's quite delicious. And then when that's done, I have a cider from Bishop here in Texas, and it's called the Dark Side. And it's like black currant and apple and stuff. So
yeah, I'm drinking a Glenlivet 12.
Okay, you're fancier than I am.
Well, it's the playoffs. It's time to break out the good stuff. I'm beer all preseason, but then playoff times roll around. It's time to up the game a bit, just like these teams in the playoffs. So let's talk about the two games that are live right now, and then we'll kind of get into some of the other games. Villanova going in the fourth quarter, up 11 points on Holy Cross. I believe the spread in this one was 13.5 that I saw on my bookie. One, do you think Villanova covers? Two, do you think there's any chance Villanova chokes here and slips it away to Holy Cross?
I don't think they choke. Holy Cross is great, but you look at that touchdown. Is it a jump pass, a trick play to get it?
Yeah.
I don't see Villanova
after trying one earlier in the game, I think.
Yeah, too. Come on, you already tried it once, and yeah, no. That one I had Villanova covering the spread. The harder one for me was the Eastern Washington and Montana game. I feel like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, wherever you bet on that one. So,
yeah, I think I this one was hard. I had a FBS buddy who does one was pick 3 games every day or whatever. And that game was Montana Eastern. He's like, who's going to win this? I'm like, well, obviously Montana's the favorite. They're at home, but then again, Eastern's already beat them. Yeah. So, who do you think's going to pull it off in that one? Do you think it's Montana?
I don't know. The thing is, they're playing at home, right? They're playing at Walgreens. That's such a hard place to win in the playoffs. But I think Eastern Washington is just that good. I kind of think Eastern Washington's going to pull it off. I don't know though. I think that's probably one of the best games of the entire playoffs we'll see out of the whole tree up until Frisco. So
yeah, that's true. This is one that for sure is going to be exciting. We're already only 10 minutes in the game, 21 points. Montana can't field anything on special team. It's crazy. I picked the Grizz to cover in this one. Or sorry, the Grizz to win. My alleged
2.5, right? It was low.
I got it at 3. I got it at 3.5. So
basically pick them.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take Eastern Washington to lose by 2 or 1. I think I predicted 28, 26 on Twitter today. So it fell within my mark, and I'm like, screw it. I literally put a little on Eastern to win because I think this could fully go that way. But yeah, as far as Villanova, I agree. Villanova maybe it's rust. because like I know I saw in the comment section, it's Patrick Firks, Holy Cross playing some pretty good D. Yeah, but like at the same time,
you got to bring that O too, and you're not.
Yeah, and they played Sacred Heart last week, and I know they held them to 10 points, but like it's just a bad football game right now. I mean, Villanova looks like the better team, but like it just cannot seem to pull away from it. It's actually been kind of hard to watch. It's one of those games where, like, as a neutral fan, there's just not a lot going for it. Like I said, they had to go for it on 4th and goal. They've tried the same jump trick pass twice. So, I mean, I guess there's trickery, but, like, it was hard for me to get into it. I made dinner. I sat there.
Yeah.
I popped the cork on this scotch for the first taste. And I was sitting there like, I don't know if it's the scotch or this game, but I'm just not feeling it. Eastern Montana kicked off immediately. Had some of the vibes going. So people in the comment section, feel free to ask questions and lead this discussion however you'd like. But otherwise, I see our main man, Jabari Jones, who thinks we all hate Kennesaw State. Let's bring on the Kennesaw State hate. Let's talk some Kennesaw ETSU, because I know he's probably being slightly serious, but while still joking. I would say Kennesaw has been getting a little bit of flack. I know last week lack of respect. I gave them a little bit of flack, saying that I thought maybe Davidson could upset them. Like if I had to pick a week 1 upset, I was like, I wouldn't pencil out Davidson as a for sure loss to Kennesaw. But now Kennesaw, the script is kind of switched. ETSU seems to be on upset alert this week. Most people think that ETSU is the most likely upset this week against the Kennesaw State Owls. Do you think it's Kennesaw State versus ETSU, or do you have somebody else that you think is more likely to get bit this week?
Sac State. I think Sac State's the more likely upset. I mean, going against South Dakota State, I don't think Sac State's that good. I think they got the benefit of dodging some of the top in the Big Sky. I actually think Kennesaw State will beat East Tennessee. And I will tell you this, I've not been a fan of Kennesaw State. I still really am not, but I think that they're the better team out of the two, and they've got some good wins. I mean, yeah, the Jacksonville State one doesn't look as good now with how Jacksonville State finished, but I think they're the better team. I kind of wonder if ETSU, they're seeded, if they're gonna, it's a big game, and if they're gonna be able to play through, if they're gonna have, if they're gonna clinch up and fall. But I think the more likely seed to fall is Sac State. I think they're the Jacksonville State of the playoffs this year, and anybody who follows this will understand that reference. So,
yeah, ETSU, I think they're pretty good, but I do think that Kennesaw State is not bad. I mean, I know Jabari probably thinks, because I do bag on them a lot, and I was like, I don't think they deserve to be ranked early in the year in the top 10, and I have been critical of Kennesaw. And when it comes to FBS realignment, I know there's a lot of people that think Kennesaw should go, and I've not been on that train. We talked about Eastern Montana. I actually think this is going to be probably the second best game this weekend. I think this one has a chance to be a really good game. Live producing, whoever's out there who has those spreads, drop them. Actually, I think I saw here a sports article about it. I was prepared this week. 2.5, Kennesaw State, according to Sam Herder.
Yeah, I was like Ben, who does the Jackrabbit Illustrated. He has them posted on his Twitter, so he has all the lines each week. So I can pull them up.
Cool. I got them all right here.
Yeah, look at you being prepared.
I know. Oh, after last week. So I think I will do this until we get questions from the fans. But I introed this. I was like, there's a couple playoff games going. I don't know how big of an episode this one will be, but we'll still give it our 100% effort.
Listen, Patrick's here, and that's what matters.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, his eags are on. He's actually giving us live game updates. So let's talk about ETSU Kennesaw State. We'll kind of go through all the matchups here until we get some better questions. Kennesaw State, 2.5-point favorite. They are on the road, going to with an over-under of 48.5. What do you think on that? I mean, that's kind of weird. You got a seeded team who's actually a dog at their place.
Over-under 48, though, and a half. Man, that's tough. I might barely take the over on that. I think with what Kennesaw State runs, there's not going to be a lot of scoring because of just the amount of time that they're going to take off the clock. But no, I've already said this. I think East Tennessee is not a bad team. Obviously, they're not. They're seeded. They do also have the benefit of beating a really, really, really bad SEC team that's helped them. And I mean, it's a great win. Anytime you beat a team with more scholarships, it's great. I just think Kennesaw State's been there. They understand how it goes. They can play on the road. Triple option, it can be a pain to stop. So, I would take Kennesaw State, and then I would say I don't know if I take the over or not now that I think about it. I think it'll be, I might take the under on this. I think it'll be low scoring, like a 24-21 or some sort of game like that.
Yeah, I'll probably take ETSU here. I just think it's too on the nose that this is the upset. But I guess that's what a lot of I had the same thing last week where everyone's like, oh, UC Davis probably going to lose to South Dakota State. I'm like, I feel like that's too on the nose. I'll probably take the Buccaneers to cover. Like I said, for me, this is more of a pick 'em, which is weird because Kennesaw State technically then is a 1.5 point dog if this is a neutral site game. ETSU not known for a very hostile fan base.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. Like it's not.
This is a really tough one to predict. Obviously, when you're looking at these, it's the closest spread this weekend. This is actually the closest spread. Montana and Eastern he had it at 3, and like I said, I got it at 3.5. So I think any way we pick on this makes sense. I will take the ETSU to cover and the money line just because I do think it's too on the nose. I think ETSU is getting slighted a lot. People aren't slighting Montana for beating a bad Washington team, So, like, I'm not going to slight ETSU for beating a bad Vanderbilt team. So,
yeah. I'll slight Montana for it. Montana, you beat a bad Washington team. No, just kidding.
Well, it's showing right now. Oh, no, we got the meta. If I had to watch this stupid meta commercial,
I know, no joke. Time, dude. No joke. I love ESPN. I love ESPN. I love even watch stuff on like ESPN Plus, but even when you watch it ESPN Plus, you see the same damn commercials like every time. Yes,
like maybe they flip in like one new one every quarter. It's pretty flipping annoying.
Maybe we should advertise, and we should advertise.
Yeah, we should actually. If people start giving likes and subs to the Facebook or the YouTube channel, we probably could subscribe or do some advertising. Let's move on. I saw Patrick kind of bring this one. We're bouncing around here. This is great. Let's go back over to the other side of the bracket. The winner of this game, which we kind of already talked about, will be most likely playing Villanova next week. Sacramento State, the 4 seed, is hosting the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. And we might come back to this because we heard we might have some STSU personalities joining us today. So if they hop on, we'll readdress it. But like from a 1,000-mile view on this one, South Dakota State, 8.5 point favorite on the road in Sacramento, over under 53.5.
Yeah, I would take that. I think Sacramento State is not as good as where they're seated. Sorry, guys. I mean, I'm sure I'll be proven wrong. I'm sure State fans, all 5 of them on the group, who are going to get mad at me for saying that, but you're not. I mean, South Dakota State, if you think about it, they are literally 1 second away from being a seed. The fact that they boneheaded that Hail Mary and that whole drive before the Hail Mary against South Dakota, they're 1 second away from being a seed. You got a bad draw, and that sucks for y'all because with the 2-headed monster that's Pierre Strong and Davis, like this one. I would take South Dakota with the point, or South Dakota State. Sorry, no offense. Although I will leave that South Dakota because I texted Brendan and said, "Hey, why aren't you on this?" He's like, "Man, I'm too lazy to set my stuff up. I'm watching the game." And I was like, "Okay, man." So I'm going to talk trash about your team, but no, I would take South Dakota State.
Yeah, he's got a big coaching hire and he doesn't want to come on here and talk about it. I listened to their episode, didn't even get a plug. I'm the one who broke the news to him. I'm the king of Hockey Nation right now. How you do it, or is it's bad? I don't even know how they do it. Anyways.
No, Brendan. But I think the Jacks. I would take them plus the
points. I think they're Brendan, not Brandon.
Yeah, not Brandon Owen. But shout out Brandon Owen. Your team's not in the playoffs either. So.
Yeah, he's also not on.
No, I would take the Jackrabbits. I would take them double digits. I think they're going to roll through that game. I think it's going to be ugly quick. I don't care if it's in Sacramento. They're going to roll through. It's going to be ugly.
Look, I'm waiting for Patrick in the comment section to hit the people with what he knows, and he knows best. Spread of 8.5, South Dakota State. Look, this is odd because South Dakota State people think I hate them. I've been down on South Dakota State all year, and I keep saying the same stuff over and over again that I just really, really liked. Mike Gronowski. But with him gone, I'm less confident about this South Dakota State team. That said, I've been staying us down all year, and I've been the one guy who has said Sac State sucks, to the point where even people in the Big Sky Podcast Network were like, oh, Chris just hates Sacramento State. Chris just hates Sacramento State. And they thought I loved UC Davis. It's just, I don't think South Dakota State covers that 8.5. I will take South Dakota or Sac State to cover 8.5. I do think South Dakota State wins, but Sac State will cover, in my opinion on this game. This isn't quite a question, but I'm going to turn it into a question. This is from Jabari Jones in the YouTube comment section. Thank you for the comment that now is going to be turned into a question. Should all the playoff games be put on ESPNU and ESPN2? You don't think so?
I would say not all the first round games. I would say probably the second round, once you get into the seeded teams, they should. But the first round games, I mean, no, and I mean, no offense here when I say this, but nobody's going to watch Holy Cross and Sacred Heart, right? Like, that's just not going to draw, and that's not going to pull the ratings. I mean, there's some really great first round games. SFA and Incarnate Word, great first round game. But I don't think you'll get the pull until you kind of get into the second round when you start seeing the top 8 play. But then at that point, absolutely they should be. They absolutely should be, like, I mean, when you're at that point. But first round games, I would say no.
Here's my take on this. I agree with you. I think the first round game should be on ESPNU. Plus, it's always during rivalry week of the FBS, so there's just no way we're going to get those spots. That's just front and center. But yeah, you're looking Friday night like this. You have maybe 2-3 games on like this. Yeah. Right now, they're competing with the Pac-12 championship, and then the Conference USA championship ended earlier today. So, like, you could easily fit, 2 when that Villanova game kicked off, and then one of these West Coast games, and do ESPNU and ESPN2. Yeah. I don't see why not. I'd love to see it. This has been my take for a while. Why is it always got to be ESPN? Like, I get that it's easy, but, like, Fox is making huge strides now. Mm-hmm. I get they're like, well, national people won't watch. I think the same person that would click on an ESPNU would probably click on a Fox Sports 1. And I don't know what Fox Sports 1 has on. I'm going to do a little research here. But I
can tell you if you give me a second.
Yeah, you do that while I talk. I was like, well, let's get it on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2. Because I think there's a 2. And, yeah, if your team's on 2, it sucks. You got to go out in there and find it. But they have their own Watch Sports or Watch Fox Sports or Fox Sports Now or whatever it's called. Find an entity that will embrace it. Find an entity that will push it and an entity that wants it. ESPN could do it. They don't want to do it. They have so much college basketball and everything. That's why they won't do it. They're probably showing. I think
they're showing a replay. They're showing a replay of the 2020 Big Ten championship game.
The Fox Sports is right now.
Yes, on Fox Sports 1.
So, like, boom, there it is right now. Montana versus Eastern Washington could be on Fox Sports 1.
Yep, and you can also utilize FX too, because right now they're showing the Fast and the Furious. So, the Fox networks picked it up. You could get some stuff. Not Flow Sports, Patrick. I get your joke, but
not Flow Sports. But I just say, like, everybody wants to be on ESPN, and I just don't think they realize that ESPN doesn't have. They've proven they don't have the desire for it. So why do we keep, like, begging and asking and whatever? Like, let's find somebody that wants it. It's not Flow Sports and puts it behind a paywall. But, like, Fox Sports has the infrastructure. CBS, not so much. But, like, maybe a partner deal with them. I mean, you look at the MLS. It's a great example. The MLS has a partnership deal with ESPN and Fox. Yeah. So they usually do one game on Fox, like, Saturday night, and then Sunday night is a game on ESPN. So, like, find a way to make it work. I do think these games could be on national television. But I just think ESPN's never going to do it. They're going to put Syracuse versus, I don't even know, St. John's basketball on for the Myrtle Beach Mower Invitational. So that's my take. ESPN. I'm just not an ESPN guy. I love it. Like, obviously, I love sports. I watch a lot of ESPN, but I hate how everybody defaults to ESPN because I'm like, yeah, ESPN's done nothing for half the sports that people want it to cover. And a lot of people think ESPN's part of the reason, it's ruined a bit of college football as a whole. All right, so we talked that bottom left quadrant of the bracket. No more questions in on the YouTube comment section. That gives us the okay to move on to the Southeastern Louisiana Lions going to Harrisonburg and Bridgeforth to face the 3 seed James Madison Dukes. Spread on this puppy is 14.5 James Madison, 69.5 over under. I think those offenses are more than capable of getting the over, so I like that over there.
I would take the over, but I would pick JMU.
This is God. Well, obviously it's the playoffs; these are all gonna be tough. I think Sela gets shit on a lot, unfortunately. They were a top 10 program there for a while, and then they finished the season poorly.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead.
The thing is, they've got such a great quarterback. I mean, obviously that's that guy is their offense and what he does, but their defense isn't great, and that's the thing. It's Southland defense, right? And Southland defense doesn't win on the road in the playoffs, and so it's really easy to pick JMU. Plus, and I don't necessarily include Danny Johnson in this piece because Danny Johnson is a fine human being if he's watching this. But Southeastern Louisiana fans are some of the worst fans in FCS. Sorry, guys. Like, you guys are just the stories that come out of Strawberry Stadium, and it's not just the stuff that was reported last week, but just in general. You can ask Stan Houston fans, you can ask SFA fans about going there. Like, their fans are it's not a good look for y'all, which stinks because you have a great program. You've taken that program from not existing to being the class of the Southland Conference. But you're not going to beat James Madison and Harrisonburg.
No, definitely not going to.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't know if you'd beat them at home. To be honest with you, I think the spread would be a little different, but I don't think you would beat them at home. I think James Madison is just too complete of a team, and Southeastern Louisiana has a great offense, but they don't have the defense to be a complete team. So I would take JMU with that, but I would definitely take the over on that.
Yeah, I'm taking James Madison as well. God, I just like when you look at some of these things. Like, I'm not trying to backtrack here, but I was just thinking, like, this is sort of like almost pisses me off about the seeding. And I know it's the argument right now with the FBS playoff is, should we get the best 4 in or the 4 most deserving? Because I feel like right now in the FCS, we do the 8 most deserving and not the 8 best teams. The fact that South Dakota State is a 8-point favorite on the road, and Kennesaw State is a 2.5-point favorite on the road, goes to show that Sac State and ETSU probably shouldn't have been seeded. Now, I get they have a chance to make everybody wrong this week, and if they move on, then everybody will have egg on their face. But
yeah,
like, I'm just thinking about them. Like, that is wild to me. Like, that would be like Alabama, or I guess this year will be Georgia, pending the game tomorrow. Gets Cincinnati, right? But somehow Cincinnati is a 2-point favorite over the 1 seed. You'd be like, well, why is that 1 seed a 1 seed? Just because they went undefeated? So, I don't know. I that's one thing I'd like to see change. Any kind of like closing remarks on James Madison, Southeastern Louisiana?
No, I like I said, I think it's the Dukes. They're gonna roll through that game. I would be shocked if the Southeastern lose. I'd be absolutely floored if Southeastern Louisiana manages to play defense against that team. The one I want to go back to what you said though, because again, like we said this with stuff. I mean, let's remember. I feel like South Dakota State got punished more than any other team when it came to their losses this year, because I think part of it was because they were in Frisco back in May. The play calling against South Dakota was stupid at the end of that. But again, 1 point, Hail Mary throw, they'd be a seed. They absolutely got whooped by UNI, and that's fine. UNI is a playoff team, but barely. But I feel like they got the most punitive damage when it came to losses this year out of any of the teams, and I really think they should have been seeded over both Sac State and Eastern Tennessee.
I agree with you that South Dakota State kind of got the shafted stick here in terms of like their losses counting more against them. I'm just going to throw one more team kind of into that mix that I think kind of got unfairly punished. And that would be Weber State. Like, I know they didn't make the playoff field, but I remember when I had them still sitting at my 25 spot, people were bagging on me, like, how could you have a 1 and whatever team still in your top 25? I'm like, well, their losses are to about to be Pac-12 champion Utah. Then they lose to James Madison, who's the 3 seed in the playoffs. UC Davis, who is in the playoffs. They smoke Cal Poly. They lose by 6 to Montana State, who's a seed in the playoffs. They lose to they beat Eastern Washington, who's in the playoffs right now and beating a seed. They smoke Idaho State. They did get upset by Portland State, which is like their bad loss. And then they blew out everybody else. So I'm like, all their losses except that Portland State were to good teams and teams in the playoffs or that are going to win a Power 5 conference. But like everybody wrote them off at the beginning of the year after, they started 1-4. And I was like, guys, I still think this Weber State team's good. So I'm just saying, like, way too early predictions for a team to surprise people next year.
Oh, Weber State would be there.
Yeah, like I think everyone's like, Weber State's time in the Big Sky is over. I'm like, no, I think they had quarterback problems all year, and then they still were in close games against all playoff teams. Had they not lost to Portland State, they should have made the playoffs. But otherwise, you are 100% right in the fact that, like, out of the teams in the playoffs, you could say South Dakota State or Eastern, honestly.
Yeah.
Because Eastern loses to Weber, and all of a sudden, now they're going to Missoula after beating the Grizz earlier in the year and having just as good of a season, minus a loss to Montana State, which I guess the Grizz beat. The whole way the Pac-12 or the Big Sky seeding worked was wild. But, yeah, that's true. Let's finish off that top right part of the bracket. Southern Illinois, we got an all-Missouri Valley showdown. We got the Salukis versus the Bison, two of the cooler mascots at the FCS level. I mean, if there was a team that could beat the Bison that's not seeded in Frisco, it's probably these guys.
Yeah.
We've seen Eastern try. They can't do it. I mean, I know it's a new year, but, like, I'm looking at this entire bracket. I don't think there was another team that was not seeded that has the chance that Southeastern or Southern Illinois has against the Bison. I don't know if they'll pull it off. The spread in this game is North Dakota State favored by 14.5. Over under 53.5. I like the under. I don't think NDSU covers that, though.
No, I don't either. I would take SIU at those points, and I would take the under on that. Like, it's very hard to beat a team multiple times in a season. Like, it's absolutely hard to do. Or, I mean, not even a calendar year, right? But, I mean, NDSU, I feel like, has become more cohesive as the year has gone on. If you look at how they've been versus what they started in September, where you had, folks like the unbiased Bison admin, Matthew Frazee, questioning some of the stuff they were doing on offense, things like that. They've become a tighter unit, and that's when you want to do it. But again, I wouldn't be super confident if I was in DSU going against the Salukis. The Salukis, man, this year up until we got to the back half schedule, they found ways to win games, and just in weird ways. So I think I would take SIU with those with the spread, and I would take the under.
Yeah, I mean, we'll put it this way: they haven't played this year, or at least I don't think they have. Last time they played was that 38-14 ass whooping in Illinois. Obviously, it's in North Dakota State. That North Dakota State team was not a 2 seed in the playoffs, so it is very much a different NDSU team this year. But I don't know, man. This is one where, like, I think people are sleeping on NDSU's chance to get upset here. Like, we're talking about upsettable teams. NDSU should be on upset alert this weekend. I mean, like I said, last time they played the Salukis, they got their teeth stomped.
Yeah.
That said, I think NDSU wins. I just don't think they cover the 14.5. The Salukis are a good team. They're a team on the rise. You're about to see 2 Missouri Valley teams. But, like, you can see that Missouri Valley is coming down to having 3 teams, Southern Illinois kind of being the other one that you can expect to be there every year. And it looks like Southern Illinois is becoming that third to the 2 state Dakota schools.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out Jeremiah Rash, because I hope he's watching this. I mean, shout out to your Salukis. He's one of the greatest mascots in FCS.
In fact, in all of sport.
Yeah, in all sports. Like, I absolutely love the logo. I love that. I'm actually I have a cart of stuff to buy, and I've got some Salukis swag in my cart of stuff. So
me too. Salukis is one of those, like, I want a Salukis thing. Hey, maybe they make it to Frisco, and then I'll get one of my – every year I buy the stupid, corny, overpriced T-shirt that says, like, Frisco, year, teams.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got James Madison NDSU, I got Eastern Washington NDSU, and I've got Sam Houston, South Dakota State. I've been there 3 years now. I'm looking for year 4. Salukis, get me there.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe like Montana State, that could be fun.
Yeah, if Salukis make Frisco, I will rock Salukis here the entire weekend. So
it would be hard. There's not many teams on the bracket on the left side of the bracket I'd be rooting for over the Salukis.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think our dreams will die at about 1 p.m. Saturday for my time. All right, let's cover that top left quadrant now. Top left quadrant, Sam Houston State hosting Incarnate Word. Number 1 seed, number 1 team that is hated by Dustin. But Dustin, where is your hate level on Incarnate Word right now?
I'm hoping for a giant meteor to hit Huntsville. No, look, I'm not mad at Incarnate Word for last week. That was one hell of a game. I think it was the best game in the first round. Incarnate Word, they're going to be our conference partner in the WAC. I hope they get their facilities up, a little better. I mean, they got the Benson family money there. They've got a lot of cash. I think they can do it. I mean, hats off to Incarnate Word. Like when we lost that game, yeah, I was kind of mad about that phantom holding call that really wasn't there. But at the end of the day, we didn't. We had a chance to stop them. We had all these things, and we didn't do it. And then Trey Self, I don't know what he did on that last play of the game instead of running it to get a first down. But you can sit here and judge the whole time. Now, if we look at this game, I really like Incarnate Word's offense. I don't like Incarnate Word's defense. And it is so. I mean, it hasn't been done yet. Nobody's beat Sam at Bowers. It has not happened. But if you look at the law of averages, at some point that streak has to end. I don't think Incarnate Word can do it, but man, I would love to see it. Like I absolutely, just for the chaos that would ensue, because chaos is fun.
Yeah, look,
I just don't think they have it. Although I do really like Cameron Ward. I think Cameron Ward is amazing. Great quarterback. Absolutely love him.
This is I saw this bouncing around on the internet, and I don't know where it originated, but it was like people talking like nobody wants to go to Sam Bowers and play is crazy, because no offense to Sam Houston fans, like I picked you last year to win in Frisco. I was excited when you do. Oh, perfect timing to the dark side as we talk about Sam. But like that stadium's usually half full. It's never notoriously known as loud. The weather is not going to be bad. Like,
no, it's going to be nice. It's going to be like 70 degrees and sunny tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful for football.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't get this, like, no one wants to go to Bowers and play Sam. I'm like, I think you look like, obviously, if you had your way, but like, you don't want to go to Bozeman and play Montana State. You don't want to go to Brookings, play South Dakota State. You don't want to go to Harrisonburg or Hammond and play either of those two teams. You don't want to go to Cheney or Waugh-Grizz to play either of those two teams. You don't probably want to go to Kennesaw to play Kennesaw State. ETSU falls a little bit more to the Bauer side of it. And obviously nobody wants to be in the Fargo Dome. So, like, I don't know. The fact that people are acting like this is some kind of big fortress.
It's just the mojo they have there. And, they're 2,000 fans. I mean, they'll actually probably have a lot of decent crowd tomorrow, because they were selling tickets in advance of the SFA Incarnate Word game, because obviously at Battle Piney Woods in the playoffs, people were already snagging up tickets and stuff.
Yeah,
I think they'll have a good crowd. The problem, the biggest problem Sam Houston has always had is their marketing department. Their marketing department is god awful, and even with the new president, Bobby Williams is AD, they haven't embraced the marketing that they have. They won a national championship. They didn't do anything for banner racing. Yeah, they gave out fake rings like the Astros did, which was cool, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I was a little jealous when I saw them. But, you don't get students at the game. You don't, the blue hairs that live in Elkins Lake who go to the game, they get mad at people for standing up and yelling. It's just not a great thing, but yet they still somehow win there. But I will say this, when they can get going and they can start getting the Sam Houston chants going across the field at each other, it's awesome. They can do a great job with it. They just need more of that, like at their games. They better enjoy. Next year they'll be ineligible for postseason, and then they'll start playing in the GoDaddy.com bowl, which, hey, that's money. That's great for them. That's money. So they better make the most of this. And so hopefully they don't stumble. My thing I've wondered about them is, I've wondered about this, everybody. All the teams that have played in the spring have taken a loss except for Sam. Sam took the 2 bye weeks, but I got to think at some point they've got to be getting tired. Just because the physical, I mean, I lost count of how many games they played this calendar year, but they've got to be up near, they got to be at 20, I think, in this calendar year, if not more.
Probably, yeah.
They've got to be worn out.
They're definitely over, yeah.
Yeah.
They played what? They played at least 6 in the spring.
They had 10 this, and they had 9 in the spring. Sorry, at 19. This will be their 20th game.
Yeah.
You've got to be tired. And I know they're conditioned and they got a great strength and conditioning coach and all that, but at some point something's got to give. I don't think it'll be against Incarnate Word, but I think it'll be. We got to see who they're playing next week, because that would be the best chance, whoever they have next week. I just don't think UIW has the defense to stop the weapons that Sam Houston has, because they have so many of them. It's insane.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, real quick before, I know there's some Bobcat fan that is really, or Skyhawk fan that really was waiting for us to break down their game. Bear with us. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a like. What is happening with Piney Wood? I have discussions, because I say both your schools, unless you're probably there, your PR and stuff doesn't get out. Are you guys going to do like a Idaho Montana did when Idaho went to the FBS and keep it on the books for 5-6 years?
If they're going to pay us.
You played at a neutral site anyways, right?
Yeah. Well, so the contract was supposed to be extended through 2024, but the Board of Regents basically tabled it. So Sam has their own Board of Regents. They're part of the Texas state system. SFA is an independent university, so they have their own Board of Regents. But the contract got tabled. So next year is the last year of the Battle of Piney Woods in Houston, which kind of sucks, because it's fun to have a game where I only have to drive an hour to go watch it instead of 3. But it also means you need to come down for Battle of Piney Woods next year, Chris. So
that sounds like I need a month. It's always like the first weekend in October, or second weekend in October.
First weekend in October. Now, it'll be interesting what Sam Houston does, because they're going to have to get some money games on the schedule where they're at home. And maybe they call up SFA and we get a couple of games in there and get some cash. I mean, but from what I've heard, it's done. And I've said this on one of the last WAC podcasts I did, which nobody watched. So thanks for watching, guys. But SFA is on an island now, because we went to the WAC with Sam. Sam has left us, so we lost the Battle of Piney Woods. Northwestern State's still in the Southland. We're not playing them in out of conference right now, so we lost. We don't have a rival anymore. And Incarnate Word. What's up, Cardinals? You want to go? No, but I think part of that too is SFA is looking at their own means of going FBS. I've heard that talked about, especially with some folks while I was there, like they're looking at it. But it still, as a fan, still kind of sucks. Like, I'm happy for Sam. I think they made the right move for their university. I'm not a hater on their move. I think they did the right thing. But it does kind of suck. And then on their website, on catfans.com, they've been like the same thing. They've said, what's going to happen with Battle of Piney Woods? They've been sad about it, too, because we are that tight-knit of a rivalry. So, who knows? We might get paid to play them. I don't know fully, but from what I've heard, at least the game in Houston as it exists is done after next year.
Yeah, I would encourage folks to do that. I mean, I know it's very sacrilegious of me, because I'm like, in no way in hell do I ever want Idaho to play Boise State again. But it is funny, because they're the ones who wanted to cancel it. And then, I do get Boise State fans that were all high and mighty about it when it happened, and now they're coming to me and they're like, I kind of miss Idaho BSU, because it's their Boise State's rival now is oh, well, BYU's good this year. Oh, Fresno State was good this year, so Fresno State was a rival, and Nevada, and they just have a new rival every year, and the fans are we just don't buy it. Kind of like Abilene Christian.
Well, I put Jason's comment here. Jason, we went to Sam. Jason's a real good guy. Happy Hanukkah, Jason, because I know you're in the midst of celebrating it. But Abilene's not our rival. They want to be our rival, but they're not. Plus, they're going to have Tarleton as their rival, as long as Tarleton stays FCS. But Tarleton's got that A&M money behind them, and they're doing the drive for $15,000. So I think Tarleton has aspirations to jump up. Basically, this is going to be the next little quick stepping stone on their path up to Conference USA. So, I mean, I guess we'll be rivals with Abilene. I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to. I have no desire to go to Abilene for any reason. So it's not exactly a game that makes me excited. So, but We'll see. We'll find something. We'll get something. It's what it is.
Yeah, kind of like me in flights to Houston right now. Anyways, last game. Thank you, Bobcat and Skyhawk fans, and anyone that has a last question. We got about 18 minutes until we will for sure hard out. So get it in now. We got the UT Skyhawks kind of coming off of an upset, going to Bozeman, Montana, to play the last seeded team, the Bobcats. I'm Missouri State going deep, so this UT Skyhawks, not my friends right now. Left side of the bracket, Bobcats, probably my friends. So I'm taking Montana State. The spread on this I didn't even look at, but it is 12.5 Bobcats over under 46.5. God, but I don't know if people have been following the drama out of Bozeman. Matt McKay, their starting quarterback, entered the transfer portal on Thursday night. There hasn't been any like open media stuff, so we don't know. Is Tucker Rovid going to play? The guy who played for them in 2019 as quarterback. Are they going to play with that Tommy Malott kid, who's kind of their new young freshman Montanan dude who the Bobcats all love? Someone who's kind of pulling for him. I'm worried about. So there's some drama behind this game. Like Montana State spread 12.5. This was written on Tuesday. I don't know if the spread's 12.5 anymore. That would be an interesting one to see what it's moved to.
No, it's got to drop now, I would think, with the news that came out of Bozeman. And UT Martin really impressed me of how they played against Missouri State. The way their defense played was nuts. So, let's go Big Skyhawks, as I'm going to call them, as they beat Montana State. Because, I don't know. That's a change to have have a quarterback change like right before your playoff game. That's hard. That's a hard thing to overcome. So
this is funny though, because like that was the whole drama, right? It was like the big three and blah, blah, blah. And like, I remember Kyler had all the stats broken up about how the, career decade-long stats of the Ohio Valley versus the big three. It was like Jacksonville State had like never beaten a big three team to go to like into the playoffs or whatever. And now you see UT Martin already handled it, beat a Missouri Valley team. They get a down Montana State team, and then they get what is looking to be, we'll see, in the future, Sam Houston State, who said who's afraid to go into there after going into Missouri State, into Montana State. You would not be scared to go to Sam Houston State. Like UT Martin on a path for just complete chaos in these playoffs. Montana State ripe for the picking. I don't think they're ripe enough. I think the Bobcats get out of this one, but like this is a game where the Bobcats go into Sam Houston next week. And the Bobcats have just not looked good their last 3 games that they had played, other than Montana against inferior competition.
Yeah.
Like, don't be shocked if UT Martin pulls it off, I guess is what I'm saying.
And I think when it comes to the Sam game, so let's look at it this way. If Montana State wins that game, Sam's going to roll them by 21. Sam is just going to shut them down. I think UT Martin has the better chance to upset Sam. UT Martin can play defense. They can play some really damn good defense. Surprising because they're from the OVC, but they can still play some damn good defense. And I think they would have the best chance at potentially shocking the world and shocking Sam. They've already done it. At this point, they literally have nothing left to lose. Because if they get to Huntsville, not only have they beaten Missouri State, they've beaten the 8th seed. The things that they said the OVC couldn't do, they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
did they become like a Sam Houston last year where it was like everybody's like, classic Southland team, right?
Yeah.
And then
soft Houston.
And then like they started winning. By the time Frisco rolled around, everybody was like, holy shit, I think they're going to win this. Because they had that path, right? They had to beat James Madison. They had to beat North Dakota State. And it was like, okay, like these guys they didn't have a soft route into the playoffs. And you'd say the same thing about UT Martin. Missouri State was a team a lot of people were high on. Montana State's a team that literally until the last week of the season was playing for possibly a 1 seed, and then you would beat the 1 seed. Like, I don't know. It kind of makes me almost want to say go Skyhawks, but Montana State, I will say Skyhawks cover, but Bobcats win.
Yeah.
Before we close it out here, this just brought it to me. Out of the non-seeded teams left, who has the best chance of going to Frisco?
SDSU, hands down. Because again, they should have been seeded. I think they have the best shot of going to Frisco. So, and I think second one would be SIU. Out of SIU or EC Martin would be my number 2 out of the not seeded.
If SIU gets through Fargo,
if they get through Fargo,
the easiest path left. Yeah. Because they would they'd play either Montana, Eastern, Sela, or James Madison. Not tough, but definitely not unbeatable.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have those teams than, and of course, ETSU and Kennesaw State. I'd rather have any of those teams than like a Sam Houston State, a Montana State.
No, I agree.
But yeah, I think I'm pulling for them Skyhawks now, though.
Yeah.
I talked myself into it. Like, we just got the Southland curse taken care of. Let's have the OVC curse taken care of. And then do this UT Martin, get a ASUN bid now that JSU's out of it. Like, is UT Martin playing for a better conference right now?
If I was the ASUN, I would strongly look at them.
Yeah, they got more big wins than anybody else in there.
I would look. If I was ASUN, I'd look at them and I'd look at Southeastern Louisiana, and I would say to Southeastern Louisiana, like, hey, do you really want to stay in the South End? You want to go to McNeese? Yeah.
But okay. That's it. We got like no other questions. You got any kind of closing remarks or anything you want to touch on before we wrap it up and catch maybe get a little bit of time to make some dinner before the second half of this Montana or Eastern Washington game?
Yeah, no, I mean, for all the fans who have the teams left, unlike my team, good, best of luck to you guys. It's, I think it'll be some really great games. I think it'll be some really great content on Sunday from this. I'd love to see some upsets just to make it more fun. But let's just enjoy the fact that we have playoff football in December. Something that we didn't get to enjoy last year because of the pandemic, and we had it in spring, which works just fine. But let's enjoy what we have now. Because Frisco in January is going to be great. And if you aren't going to Frisco, even if your team's not going, my question is, why aren't you? Why aren't you there enjoying it? Like, my team hasn't been national championship since 1989, and that was technically asterisked as we didn't show up. And I still go to Frisco as much as I can. So why aren't you there? So if you haven't made your plans to go this year, find a way to go. And if not, next year when the tickets go on sale, get your tickets and go. You get to hang out with us. And you get to enjoy some great football in a great venue, and it's fun. So just get out there. Because of you guys, FCS as a brand is growing. So just remember that you're part of the movement to help. It's not just the people running the podcast; it's all the fans who are trying to drive this.
Yeah, like I said, I've been 3 straight years. Obviously, Idaho has not been in it, even the playoffs. So I bought tickets knowing that my team was probably not even going to be in the field. And you're right; it is the FCS's bowl game. Like, travel to it. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's your team, it's your brand. Your brand is FCS. If you are on this network, if you are one of these listeners, one of the people that follow us, if you are part of the Facebook group, it's because you are interested in more than just your team. If you just like your team, you wouldn't be a part of a group that talks about the overarching aspects of the FCS. So go. Tickets, if you buy them early, are super cheap. You get good seats. And even if you don't, and like Dallas is super easy. They have 2 airports. They have Dallas Love and DFW. Like, there's flights, so many flights in and out of there. It's central. Weather can be iffy, but it can also be iffy. And like, the first time I went, I got sunburned. And then the last time I went, it sleeted. So like, definitely pack like a tank top down to a parka. But I don't know. It's fun. Like, Frisco does a good job embracing it and everything. So I would just want to echo what Dustin said. Like, go. Just go. If it's not this year, make it happen next year. One of my favorite quotes in life is don't make excuses, make improvements. Don't make excuses, make improvements. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Like we said, every single week you have all these podcasts, and we really appreciate you bookending it with us. Hopefully you had a little pregame. Dustin, cheers. Social. Cheers. Good luck to everybody's team that's playing tonight and playing tomorrow. And I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Boom.